been a crazy year, and we're thankful that you guys are all here and supporting us. I'm going to say a few words, and then our President Tim Smith is going to talk, and then we will do our raffle and announce our $250 poker winner, okay? All right. Okay. I'm just going to wait for quietness for a second. Carlos, mostly. Okay. Ever since I can remember, I wanted to be a mom. Carlos still teases me, that was my pickup line. Hey, I want to be a mom. We never imagined it would be difficult to conceive, but after a few years of infertility issues, we'd almost given up. The heartbreak each month was too much to handle. After a tubal pregnancy and a few miscarriages, we had one more chance with in vitro fertilization. After speaking with our doctor, we were hopeful again. 3 weeks later, I felt a little funny and I had a little feeling I was pregnant. This had to be a mistake. It wasn't. I was finally pregnant. We were in shock. I loved being pregnant and I loved feeling every little kick and roll. At 36 weeks, I was rushed into an emergency C-section, and with our little boy, something was wrong, and our lives would change forever that day. I only got to see my baby for a minute, and I got to touch his little hand through an incubator before he was rushed off to another hospital that could give him the care and support he needed. The next 3 days were a blur. I was in one hospital and he was in another. No one seemed to have any answers. Kevin was on a ventilator. He couldn't breathe on his own. The first time I held him, he was 3 days old and connected to every machine in the hospital had to offer. Holding him was the best feeling in the world, and I knew I would never let go or never give up. 6 months, Kevin spent 6 months in the neonatal intensive care unit. He had multiple surgeries to help him stay alive. He had a trach placed at 3 weeks old so that he could be on a ventilator 24/7. He had a feeding tube put in because he was unable to suck through a bottle. The doctors still didn't have the answers for us. We had no diagnosis and no way to know what our future held. We spent countless hours researching and nothing seemed to fit Kevin. Kevin would have to come home with many machines and a full-time nurse staff. When we brought Kevin home, he required around-the-clock care, but he loved being home. He became stronger and healthier. We had all sorts of people coming and going. We had to learn a whole new language, trach, G-tube, suction, PT, OT, speech, CODA, PEEP, SATS, HME, BM, and so many other foreign words. We had to learn how to give report to nurses and how to do CPR on our baby. Our family was by our sides through all of this. They learned with us and supported us in any way they could. I remember looking through his baby book one night and realized I hadn't filled it out. So I decided I better catch up with things. Baby's first bath, baby's first food, baby's first smile. At 6 months old, I couldn't fill in one space in that book. Our baby was almost a year old and I couldn't fill out one thing in that book. I tore it into a million pieces. I found out that I was pregnant again on Kevin's first birthday. I was not excited. I was terrified. How could this be? The doctors told us we only had a 2% chance of ever conceiving. We didn't have a diagnosis for Kevin. What if this baby had the same thing? How could we do this again? But when Kevin was 15 months old, we met with a neurologist. As soon as he walked in the room and looked at Kevin, he said, "Oh, he has Mobius syndrome." What? I never thought that I would be so happy to hear that my son had a syndrome, but I was excited to have answers. I could research and I could connect with other Mobius families. I could help him. Kevin had every complication associated with Mobius, but we had answers. And most importantly, Mobius was random and most likely not genetic. Our baby on the way would be okay. We spent hours researching Mobius, and we met other parents that had children with Mobius. Everyone kept telling us, Kevin just needs more time. Time is your friend. Kevin may never be able to smile, but we had hoped that he would learn to walk and talk and get off all of his machines and be a typical little guy. Kevin is 14 now, and he can walk with assistance. He still requires a breathing tube and feeding tube. He can communicate with gestures, and he loves YouTube. He attends a special school, and he loves. We have hopes that he will walk and talk one day, but in the meantime, we have been able to connect with so many families and have learned so much from each other. Connecting with other families with children with Mobius is priceless. Connecting with adults with Mobius is also priceless. We all need each other. We wanted to do something. I didn't want any other parents to go through what we had gone through. I kept thinking, if more people knew about Mobius, then maybe somebody would have recognized it earlier and we wouldn't have gone through what we did. We made it our mission to spread awareness. We started Riders for Mobius 11 years ago and started telling everyone about Mobius. We have reached thousands of people and been able to connect families with others with Mobius to help them with resources. In 2019, Riders for Mobius partnered with Many Faces of Mobius. We wanted to be able to reach more and do more, and we have. With Many Faces of Mobius syndrome, your donations, we have been able to create animations to help school children learn, provide virtual events to educate and promote awareness, provide welcome packets to new Mobius parents, provide Christmas gifts to Mobius families in need, provide Mobius Syndrome Awareness Day events and promote Mobius Syndrome Awareness Day, offer financial assistance to those in need of medical supplies, and create Camp Mobius 2022. It is our mission to educate and create awareness for Mobius syndrome to enable those affected to live better lives. Our goal is to raise enough funds to continue doing what we are doing and more. Thank you for coming, and please tell a friend about Mobius.
Yeah.